We have actually touched the various aspects and facets of steel making, iron making. And with this, now I hand over to Ms. Pushpa, AGM Bihar Steel Plant, as the reporter of this function, and the number of presentations which you have lined up, and she will explain the rules and regulations for the presentation. Pushpa, ma'am.
Thank you, Shekhar. I believe most of you have been here in the first session also, but again, for the knowledge of the people who are going to present the papers in this particular session, first presentation will be made by Tata Steel Ferroalloys and Minerals Group by Mr. Prabhash Gogran. Second will be done by Mr. P.K. Mani from RDCS. Then the third presentation and fourth presentation both will be from ABB India Limited, Bangalore. So I'll ask all the presenters to be ready. Before we proceed, let me again remind you of the rules. Each presenter will get 10 minutes to speak. At the end of 8 minutes, we'll ring the bell, and please don't mind, that's our duty. So at the end of 10th minute, the bell will be a bit longer. So try to wind up after that as early as possible. And after every presenter, I request the audience to kindly use the question slip and write the questions you intend towards that particular presenter. Write the name of the presenter also, and give it to the volunteer. Then at the end, we will take up the question answer session where the presenter will be answering all your questions. That is, it will be done by Shri Prabhash Gogran, sir. Especially in selected publications, sir has published paper in the Global Ferroalloy Industry Joint Planning Committee, empowered by the Ministry of Steel, Government of India in June 2012. Besides that, many other papers are also mentioned here. In selected presentations, he has presented in Indinox, Ferrochrome and Stainless Steel Brightening India's Future, Indinox Stainless Steel Fair in February 2011, and many more. Patents are 2. Process for the production of ultra-low phosphorus ferrochrome in a furnace. Global patent issued in India on 24th August 2001. And the second patent for production of low-carbon ferrochrome using Indian chromite ore. Many
consequent increase in iron ore. I have been in charge of some projects for Tata Steel where we always have this debate on how much would we look at sustainability and how much would we look at mining material for your immediate needs. And this debate is, I don't think there is a solution, and I definitely don't know if there is one, but there are certain points which I would like to put forward. When we talk about increasing India's production, we also need to look at a few other things. Can I go next? Okay, one disclaimer that these are my views, not necessarily of the organization that I work for. And my sequence is the views on development versus sustainability, mining, which is usually non-sustainable, and about rational development and sustainable development. There's a quote which I'd like to start with, which is a developer is one who's already built his house, and champions of sustainability have already built their houses. So you would always find that the US and the Western world are champions of sustainability, and they force India and China to not follow their path of development, whereas their sort of greenhouse emissions or the amount of ecological ruin that they have caused the world is far higher than what developing world has done. So there are 3 views of development versus sustainability. The first view, this is a mountain pass rare earth mine in California in the United States. A Molycorp Incorporated owned this mine, and it was once the largest supplier of rare earth metals. In 1998, the chemical processing of the mine, which is basically a hydrometallurgical process, and a hydrometallurgical process are known to be not very eco-friendly, that was stopped, and in 2002 the mine was closed. And this was the largest source of rare earth metals in the world. Next. The China is today the largest source of rare earth metals for the world. Rare earths have become very important, especially because of smartphones and other devices which use LED TVs, for example, the blue diodes, which are used with the white diode lights, etc., which use rare earths basically for these things. The demand of rare earths has sort of jumped up by a few thousand times in the last 5 years. Rare earth mining in China is very, very it's beyond imagination, the amount of ecological ruin that it does. It's a very low-tech method where they pour acid into a hole which they make and then pump it out. And the leach liquor goes and ruins all water bodies around it. It's incredible that such a low-tech method is used to harvest minerals. Okay. And now we have the view in India. As usual in India, we are a little confused. One is the Kerala Mining and Metals Corporation, which is also doing mining of rare earth metals. And just like in China, we too have problems with MMO, where much of God's own country is becoming hell. You have Kudremukh in Karnataka, which is closed for ecological reasons, and Kudremukh is a very large iron ore deposit. So when we look at Karnataka, for example, Kudremukh is just one example. All the mines in Karnataka and Goa are closed for mainly ecological and other reasons. There's hope yet because there's some convergence in the debate. The Mountain Pass mine, there are chances of that it's opening in a small way because US does not like the monopoly that China has, and especially Japan and the US are very concerned about China's growing power in high technology areas. And most of the smartphones, for example, are made in China primarily because there is not enough rare earth materials with anybody else to make those smartphones. Similarly, China has recently been forced by the US to comply with certain ecological certain norms for ecology and for reduction in the carbon footprint, etc. And one of the fears of the US president's visit in India was that India would be too asked to toe in the line. And very softly, I think we have sort of acknowledged the fact that at some stage we would also need to look at this. The Molycop mine started mining in a small way, and China has also got a pollution fund which they've started. They've stopped many of their highly polluting industries. Now mining, I am from the mining industry, and mining uses up the resource that promotes it, and it is not a sustainable practice. So you've got a mine which has got a reserve for, let's say, 1 million, 100 million tons. At some stage that 100 million tons will become zero because you're mining it up. So by definition, mining is